So I initially was going to read an excerpt from one of my novels, but Cynthia inspired me to take the plunge and read some poetry. Um, I tend to write a lot about death, so I tried to weave in some of my less serious poems into the mix so we don't all get depressed. Communication. You speak in sequels, first this, then that. I speak in hopscotch, forever getting by on one foot in my mouth. It's a small world without you. Next time, let me die before you, so those real, tender, and juicy German sausages packed in brine won't demand I cry inside the world market where shoppers stock aisles of chocolate wafers and yardsticks crammed full of life savers. Next time, let me die first, so pumpernickel bread no longer reeks of sadness, like those huckleberries that didn't live to see my basket. Next time, let me find the sweet in the sauerkraut, instead of reliving news that your lifespan had been captured by some foreign militia's malignant attackers. Okay, so a lot of my poems I've written to prompts and just practicing my poetry writing. This one is called Box of Teeth, and it was for the prompt to write a future poem. My future self resides inside my father's aged cigar box, displayed with pride on high, above an antique upright where immortal composers mourn and sigh from beyond at the terrible neglect of those grand old keys. Count, measure, label. Today I wore no socks to the mailbox when Pacific Northwest earth squished between my toes. Your letter is long overdue. Rumor has it you sent it last week in 1983, when the average monthly rent was $335 and there were no tents on the sidewalk. I've traveled the world in your pocket, the stick long lost from that worn-out postage stamp at a measly cost of 20 cents. Something tells me you lied or lost it. Me, easily forgotten, like those who've given up. Yet me, I've not forgotten you. I just can't help but focus now on skyrocketing rent that's brought defeat, made tents the only option for some, sleep, a mailbox, and a stamp, all foolish treats. Unwanted inheritance. He left me all of his things, cow dung covered work boots, shoved underneath the bed, peeling linoleum on the bathroom floor, an endless trail of unwanted guests in search of belongings, a leather belt with nobody's pants to hold up, a ring of coffee grounds in his beloved mug. He left me all of his things. Reminiscing the missus. She was a shortcut to disaster, a minivan you drove to your last punk rock concert. She was your retirement savings spent on a luxury cruise, a ridiculously reliable room and board. She imagined having something to hide. She promised stories you couldn't stop talking about. She was a secret you gave away in 2 days. She was comfort and wellness in each of her harsh details. She said being is boring, but couldn't break away from herself. She answered no, yes, no, and maybe to every single question. So you remind yourself, she was the beginning of my demise. But sometimes you reminisce about how if you'd kept her around, you'd have a different dress code. You'd go by a name like Yates or Thorngristle, and life would be your very own charm school. Instead, you're stuck reviewing summaries of her every little tat and how her endless, titillating symphonies stirred senses you didn't know you had. Snow angels. 55 years ago, a tiny boy spread his wings on this spot. then hop to his feet to admire and remember. 10 years ago, boy as man spread his wings on this spot. Then we drop to our knees to admire and remember. Lost and found. You're a felt hat with a hole in one side, reeking of mothballs, pilled from years of misuse. You've burrowed deep within that protective wooden box where you were lost and found. Now you're calm, buried beneath an infinity scarf draped around your neck like a noose, and thin woolly gloves to nurse your remains after numerous encounters with the cadaverous skin of your kin. Death under a full moon. The moon is a hazy orb surfacing as your ghost in every photo we didn't take. The moon is a glass of sour milk, an aspirin before being snapped in two, a scoop of plain old vanilla ice cream, undesirable like that disease. The moon is full. The moon has left me starved for you. I'm sorry for that phone call. In the event my death happens at 3 a.m., I ask that, before sharing the news, all loved ones are left to snooze through the night, finish algebra exams and job interviews, let them chow down their last bite of apple crumble, swig that last sip of Cabernet, deploy their holiday hang gliders before stealing the wind from their joyride. In the event of my death, never mind. Please, just let them all rest in peace. Available in paperback. Not today. On sale. Cheap. 75,000 words. Assembly required. There was a pile of words disassembled, trying to make sense, pass along a message in their mess. The writer longed to call the story written, but instead became smitten with endless editing and coffee addiction. Dementia at play. This room has become nothing but squares and rectangles, circles and right angles, and free-form embraces. The mirror reflects no trace of faces from those lost years I hopped through in the back of my closet on one wobbly leg and a shoeless foot. Those years I can't seem to examine, thanks to tests returned inconclusive. They've left me reclusive. These friends of all shapes and sizes spell out all sorts of words, but can't speak my language. Oh, bluebird. Each day I rest behind window panes, eye those dried up birds of paradise, shriveled celery sticks and strawberries that never came to be. These things remind me I am alone, here with only bluebird's song. He cries out to me. He reminds me I am here without you, and you, and you, and you, and if only we could rendezvous upon a vintage metal bench in the south of France, where no one knows my name or knows my pain, and where everyone plays the game of pretending life is all birdsong without end until they lose a friend. Then life becomes undone. Well, true birdsong never loses its tune and sense. If only I could immerse myself in song, forget all those for whom I long, and feel I belong in this place from where all my friends have fled. Oh, bluebird, you throw your pitches out with a flick of your tail. Demand I fill your feeder, immerse myself in your cause. We must make a deal. I keep you free from hunger and thirst, and you keep me free from hungering and thirsting for those who've returned to dirt. As palm trees swallow the last beam of sunshine and darkness in branches and leaves hide pomegranate buds from your beak, I roll down the shade on our relationship. A warm lavender breeze blows in past your tail and your tweets, reminds me it's time for me to pretend I've fled too by finding sleep. As my closed blinds help me forget, bluebird returns, yelling his song, his body convulsing with each peep. He says he needs me. The summer is hot and dry with no water to be found. But Bluebird can't be trusted. I know I'm not his only love. I've seen that birdseed stack at the warehouse store and those elderly couples stockpiling 20-pound bags, then filling their feeders and, tired of TV, binge watching his daily display instead. You, Bluebird, are exceptional. I relish in your songs, just like those before me. You soothe my soul, make me laugh. And now I understand your song is a gift that helps grief-stricken people like me go on living. You set an example. Sing in all times, good and bad. Sing for the thrill of life and of singing. And even as you take, keep on giving. Oh, Bluebird, I love thee. See you tomorrow. Private last rites for her firstborn. Just past 10, wide awake as the moon, fingers long as tongs, reach inside the plastic storage bin, retrieving bits of the cherished life she watched sink down into the ground earlier that day. She cranks the pin, observes the fragile porcelain ballerina spin to Claire de Lune. Authority on love. She took up a stool at 14th and 3rd outside the chic singles bar where love was a curse word. But when she pulled out her fine linen pad, a stroke of her pen proved she wasn't half bad at penning love poems on cue for the masses. Her magical words turned cynics askew and sent them out with new hope to search for their matches. All right. This is another prompt poem, write a disguise poem. Elected to a higher position. Sometime last night, the commissioner fell out of commission, went to the ER to repair damage received from the power tools he mishandled, like those funds for the public schools, where he was not sewn up and welcome to leave, but instead welcome to bed, where he unknowingly bled everyone dry before he died. Air. You try to clean house, scoop stray bits of his hair into piles, meditate while sitting on the toilet, shake ashes from unwashed shirts hanging themselves inside closet darkness, finger toy pistol he played with before graduating to the real thing. You step inside tomb of papers laid to rest, where his handwriting lives on in the same plane as you. You sift through weeds to get to dust, beg for anything living to visit. You try. You try. You wonder when trying got so hard. You wonder why he died instead of you. Unholy. Fill your empty space with anything without a face, without a heart, without a mind. Wonder why you never found your way. Wonder why you ran out of time. After the funeral. Your beloved body parts blur my routines. I peel your heels off my lonely loaf of sourdough. Curse your face when you alarm me that I'm going to be late. Move your hands ahead when I realize we've lost time. Run your teeth through my locks, split at the ends. Rip the heart from your chosen bowl of flourishing greens. Follow bloodshot red threads to your cavernous eye in all my attempts to ignore and then stitch my torn apart heart shut. Funeral home nightly report. Same dead body, same casket, same urn, same last respects, same tears, different family. No return. This was published in Enhanced Magazine in 2013. You left a wrinkle in the mattress. 5 years later, I can still see you there. You left a hair in my comb, the one we used to smooth your sickly fibers back. You left a wardrobe in the closet, loose, alone, hanging around for your return. You left your photo by my bedside. Fingerprints turned to dust, now frame your face. You left us here, missing you, holding things you once held, all that's left. Granny's special surprise. For my birthday, she brandished one long bony finger, summoned me inside, sidled beside my hungry taste buds, slathered my platter with exceptional brownies, crafted under supervised care of knobby knuckles and one loose stringy gray hair. Her smile revealed one tooth had gone missing, dotted out by a smear of chocolate frosted inking. She nodded and asked, "How do you like them, dear? Do you feel funny?" I confessed I'd never been a consumer of nature's sedatives or potions. She said, "Silly, that's not what I meant. These goodies were assembled with some of my friends who couldn't escape. So I stirred them right in. For your birthday all year, remember this adage of three. See no weevils, hear no weevils, speak no weevils, because they've departed, gifting you with pure, unadulterated protein and a message from beyond. Live life to the fullest, even if that means hiding under cover in somebody's cupboard in a sack of flour, cowpea, greenery, or rice. Pick your poison, for the fate of our family tree foretells that no matter your vice, you'll never live twice. Meet me at midnight. Waited all day, every day for 2 or 3 decades for your summons to join you in an exciting escapade. Today was the day invitation arrived, only it was for your burial. You're no longer alive. Trilogy 1. The envelope arrives day after day, but never has your name on it. 2. 2 wheels, red moped, city streets, packed with people, lacking you. 3. Froth, floating inside trapped memories. You were supposed to take my sadness away, gloomy cafe. I'm your paper doll. My shape has been captured, a cardboard cutout, too stiff to bend. Water disintegrates me into softened, soggy mess. Won't dry back the same as before the flood. Throw me into a box with an outfit for each day. Stuck in that black one I wore to your funeral. Spiral. The only thing she remembered, translucent hands wrapping her hair around the barrel of a blistering iron, curling it around the way she had curled herself around his heart, a mess of loops coiled this way and that, snaking their way from teary-eyed to disbelief. Her curls drew in all that was wrong with the day, a flag that would not unroll, how she circled around the chapel to figure out what to do with herself, the way she could not recall anyone else's name beside her own, how his body could fit inside that tiny urn, what she would now do on his birthday. By the end of it all, her curls had finally settled from chaos to compliance, but forever captured in every photograph of the day she wanted nothing more than to forget. The curls now wrap themselves around her soul, causing a sickness she can never unravel. And now, every day, she wears her hair straight. Unmixable. If you see a woman blurred around the middle, it is me, haunting that same cafe day after night, sipping chamomile with a splash of black coffee, circling the uncommon mixture around. Me, a fragile cup, singing from the swirls, watching you squint in my direction, trying to figure out if I am real, if we were real. What's in the garden? He asked to be scattered among her heirlooms and forget-me-nots. Now she finger rakes dust, dirt, and ash in hopes of a rebloom. The niche. After he's placed inside, the crowd gathers, forming a half circle, eyes shifted downward, feeling him overhead. Behind them, a lone koi lifts its mouth above the water. Sucking for air, sustenance, a blonde-haired child of 5 sobs quietly, the acacia leaves rustling father's last breath. I wrote this for my friend, a good friend of mine who died from cancer. Space Girl. We wafted on life preservers in the middle of Lake Washington when the moon sat high, teetering on the edge of a shelf ready to fall into itself in the Cimmerian sky. I traced the stars of each of the dippers, remembering how we scooped frozen dreams, just barely 2 steps out of our teens. I still live up to that handle, given by my dear friend, whose directional projections now shine down from the origin of that nickname he loved to expound. Out of reach, he now safeguards me, slightly less than 93 million miles away. 6 years gone. On the day of your death anniversary, I shop for Funyuns, walk out with cantaloupe instead. There is no fun left in eating junk foods anymore since cancer ate your body. Memorial. On Thursday, she wore a violet dress, plucked a jasper stone from the dish upon her desk, wandered to her garden where the scent of rosemary and thyme awakened her taste buds to flavors she savored at their last supper. She burrowed her hands into red clay and dirt, trying to feel her existence, trying to find her worth. She wondered what it's like to sleep and never wake. Would there be peace beneath the surface? Would all memory of her existence disintegrate? The growth chart. The view from every angle was of my mama's measurement chart, etched like an inscription on a tombstone into the door jamb of the living room. Not to record my growth through the years, but to report the date of each time someone passed through to the other side. She called our living room the dying room, but with each entry of elimination, my mother said we all grew a little. Road trip blip. Behind us, superfluous feral cats yowl, owls hoot, trains maintain distance resistance, drivers in the fast lane complain. Eye opener. Your eyes scan the calorie pair at the end of the porch. Your pupils perfect circles that take me around and around as I sneak peeks, try to get a feel for your mood. You're small, hard, and woody, just like its produce, and love fails to touch you. Only frost can soften your inedible fruit. Some say you're full of wisdom, you tout daily news, but I know the truth. Judgment has moved in, made you a brainless vase taking up space where no flowers can bloom. One night stand. Hidden inside these walnut-finished solid oak drawers, guarded by half-moon poles, live remnants from another lifetime when you and I braved a night entwined, locked together like a dovetail joint. But the next day you torqued my slides and sent me off track when you decided we were misaligned. Death of the old self. Once upon a time, she hitchhiked toward bright, scampered with Buddhas and gods because she didn't fit inside anyone else's box or mind. She drifted like ash, disembodied thoughts with nowhere to go but to the fiery bottom of burned timber, brick, and stone. Now the dented base of her metal urn rests on a mantle, and she wonders how she made that mistake, if there's anyone else around, and how she ever allowed herself to snuff out her own light. Incomplete edition. She's an incomplete travel guidebook bound together with rusted old metal clips, jammed in the back of the bottom desk drawer where no one bothers to look anymore. She can tell you what to pack and where to get a map, so just slip open that compartment where you tossed her aside. She'll tell you where to go. Just don't expect a divine trip to the other side. Quite the catch. When she caught a tiny piece of herself she thought had not survived goodbye, her mind mushroomed from the natural high of her enlightenment. But, like a butterfly in a net, She couldn't bear to set it free, for fear it would fly far, far away, enjoy its release, leave her alone with her former self. Rocking out. Okay, so this was written to a prompt with song titles, and I use Passing By, Alive for Breakfast, Wherever You Are, A Letter from Home, somewhere between. Um, Somewhere between my sleep and your waking, a woman waits for a letter from home, envisioning your face in the atmosphere, passing by wherever you are, snapping herself out of catatonic quiet, sitting down to eat a lie for breakfast. Still photographs. You rise every day, my face in your pocket, rubbing flesh red, raw. I'm a sore spot you can't feel. I'm a prize you don't dare keep. You pushed me away, greedy wants, needs, and wishes. No me left to give. I dream of you in black and white. You're my little secret. Okay. Um, just one season. Do not stop yourself from weeping over sunflowers that lean, slumped to one side. Their smiles drop to the dirt where I rowed a sea boat on that sea you tunneled and filled with your modest garden hose. Do not stop yourself from crying as you crack open each tiny shell. Remember when you held me as your true love, your hands cupped around my face. Do not stop yourself from crying that life has grown short and our time's come and gone after just one season, like those smiling sunflowers of gold that sprung from your seed in my soil. He wasn't ignoring you. It's no secret she still whispers I love yous in her mind to comfort herself for being unkind, for leaving him behind, because she didn't know it at the time. He wasn't snubbing or sneering, but simply hard of hearing. Framed. He's a fight that broke out after a kiss and make up. He's a rescue mission with no survival guide. He ponders his demise each morning while dressing 9 to 5. His dreams were arrested, given 20 to life. This one is about, it's called C's for the Unseen, or He Saved Her with C's, which is C's Candies. A white paper bag about 11 inches by 5, hidden in sight on the shelf above the entertainment center, filled with marzipan, chocolate sprinkled Bordeaux, and sometimes a few nuts and chews. He'd hold open the sides, offer her salivation's salvation from the effects of being whacked on the head, of being the entertainment of those 5 bored 11-year-olds, of ducking away from them into bathroom stalls, her feet planted on toilet seats while she silently prayed she was invisible. And that is a story about my father saving me after me being bullied at school. 4-letter word. It was a tiny expression meant to control flow and indicate right of way. He said go, she said no. Case of the missing life. She went out in search of the levels of creation, awakening legacies, and how to be her own Buddha. She lived by myths and dreamed of angels. She embodied the world with hands of a goddess, and she even went a little wild. But halfway through her mission, she found mystical travelers finish last. They ask and get nothing, that the guide to essential knowledge is incomplete. She found vampires are real, and real people are the fairy tale. So she wondered how she could save the cat if she couldn't save herself. Now she knows those books and dreams are all a fake, created to make a buck from unsuspecting fools who've had their smiles turned upside down, had their commonplace existence erased. Like her, gone from the world, her memory living on only in cyberspace. The Family 411. We've been wandering in the backyard behind the unfinished A-frame, prying up weather-beaten shingles and peering underground into mountain beaver towns. We've been following the grassy knoll through cherry blossoms, rhododendrons, and other shrubs, searching for nuts from the family tree. But it seems we were too late. The place has been overrun by flying squirrels moving across the sky. There's no stopping them. Their grub hunting and hoarding has our family capsized. If you dare pay a visit or even respects, or dare to get even with death's refusal for leaving, just beware. You might fall down the cracks or be swallowed alive by that hunger we all now struggle to live with. It never dies. This one's called Book Lies, and I have some problematic pronunciation words, so bear with me. Wingless members of family Troglodyte, commonly found in human dwellings, these tiny authors feed on scripts, spit them out for tenants to find. The Soptera evolved from ancient scribes, but have all lost all recollection of manuscript keeping. Poor eyesight and penless, they communicate using sound instead, tap with the end of their abdomens, using Morse code in a faint ticking noise, and chewing to communicate stories like that of Violet Beauregard. Wonder. On the day you die, I'll wonder if there's anyone left to miss you, call you friend or lover or beloved. I'll wonder what your last thoughts were, when you saw your final sunset, and who you last said goodnight to. On the day you die, tears will not come. Dried up long ago, a deserted well in a former wetland, now turned dusty and barren. On the day you die, I'll watch elders flickering in the wind, a movie reel turned in fast motion, leaves bouncing, bumbling to the nostalgia of Stairway to Heaven. On the day you die, my eyes will turn upward to the bluest skies. I will wonder where you live and breathe now, and if I will ever find you there. Um, my husband had a heart attack and a triple bypass, and I wrote this while he was in the hospital. I'm recovering, and I'll end on this one. Triple bypass. 1. He's 58 today. It's the middle of the night, the middle of his life. His pain is a 7. Day 1. 4 hoses drain his fluids. An oxygen mask sustains breath. I sleep nearby in ICU. Morning comes. He exceeds expectations. He waves from his bed after awakening from stasis. I wonder how we got here. He sits in a chair. He eats. He strolls antiseptic hallways with a walker. We have hope. I gaze out the window between 2 towers, temporary dwellings for the bedridden. The cement landing, a canvas of seagull, crap, Rorschach tests. I look there for our future. Where is it? What is it? The splatters reek of grief. 6 spiders dangle on glass panes, veiling my view of students in white coats. Nurses say it's normal to have skin ripped away with tape removal. They'll order wound care. It should only be a day. It's the middle of the night, the middle of his life. 2. Day 2. He walks, his sternum cut in half. Nausea's moved in. He consumes only a spoonful or 2, waits for the feeling to pass. 2 days ago, they harvested 3 juicy arteries, 1 from his arm, 2 from his chest. They sliced and diced him, then stitched him back together like a rag doll. A bowl of Cheerios awaits him. 1, 2, 3, little O's down. Success. It's the middle of the night, the middle of his life. 3. Some other day, I lost track. They say if you need to use the bathroom, just call Tom. I order tomato soup with saltines. He can't stomach peppermint tea. Last night, the Washington Nationals beat the Seattle Mariners 3-1. I didn't watch. Today, the room is cold. I wrap a thin hospital blanket around me and snooze in the chair while he naps. It's the middle of the night, the middle of his life. Still another day. The surgeon's assistant gives me tips for home care. Her words swirl into the blur of my mind. One thing I remember, He's not to reach behind him. They say, keep your elbows together when you reach for the sky. I observe old photos, him calling soccer shots, me calling him Bumblebee in that yellow-black outfit, mobile and light on his feet. One by one, they remove the tubes. His body takes over, fights to live. He struggles to eat. I save my visitor stickers in my MFAW journal. Screen, 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 screened for COVID. They take up the middle of pages, sit sideways, upside down, and hidden under sticky notes about anastomosis. I see my thesis protagonists everywhere. Vampire bites on my husband's neck. Character nicknames on his bed. A child's kimono hanging on the wall. I can't remember the feel of real sleep. A triple bypass often lasts between 3 and 8 hours. Recovery is 6 to 12 weeks. Marriage has been 27 years. He gave me his heart for better or worse, in sickness and in health. I cared for it, I really did. It wasn't my fault. It's not his diet, lack of exercise, smoking, or abuse, but an unlucky break. It's the middle of the night, the middle of his life. 7 days later, he's home now, tracking weight, blood pressure, food intake, those things many of us don't think about. In the real world, people complain about parking spaces and sold-out coffee beans. He marks off the days, 1, 2, 3, strikes. When he can climb out of bed, resume his life, enjoy his new norm. He's 59 now, is still the middle of his life. His pain is a 1 now. Spiders replaced by winged creatures, dragonflies, crows, bumblebees, spouting perseverance, courage, strength, stick-to-itiveness, bypassing us on the back patio, going about their business while he soaks up vitamin D. It's the middle of the night, the middle of his life. I sleep nearby. I send texts. I see you. I try not to cry. I remember to live every day instead of waiting for something. Waiting. I remember it's the middle of the night, and this is our life.